Hello everyone, I'm Les Bubka, and in today's video I would like to share with you my Q&A with Chris Hansen from Karate Unity, where we talked about mental health, karate, cross-training, and my book, Anxious Black Belt. Hope you're gonna enjoy it. Let's roll the video.
Welcome, this is Chris Hansen here from Karate Unity. Welcome back to another edition of live Q&A with me and a special guest and our special guests so far. We've had a lot of different martial artists from all over the world coming in and check in with us. Thank you for all your time so far. Today we have a really special guest. His name is Les Bubka. He is a UK-based martial artist. He's been training for over 20 years. And recently he's basically written a book by the name of The Anxious Black Belt, and I finally got a chance to read it, and today we're going to be discussing his book along with his life in martial arts and training, and we're both going to play off of each other and talk about ourselves. So I'm going to bring Les in about a minute, but before I do, I'm just going to turn off that light behind me because it's annoying. Sorry, I should have done that earlier. Okay, so we're going to go and grab Les. Let's take a look. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Hansen. I've started Karate Unity here on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's a place where we get martial artists together. And I also showcase my take on karate with respect to cross-training in other combat arts and different arts. The main premise of Karate Unity is basically we are all one. We all share the same biomechanical principles. And in my opinion, I think reaching out and cross-training with others to build a martial community is really important. Is it a mandatory thing? Not at all. If you're comfortable doing what you're doing, hey man, it's all good. But I've noticed just from experience that when you cross-train and bring people's ideas together, you just create one big martial arts soup and a musical symphony, so to speak. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab Les. Let's see if Les is there, and there he is, and he is going to be, I'm just going to wait for him to come down. And, oh, there he is.
Hello.
Good
Hello.
evening. It's,
good evening.
Or good morning. Is it, no, good night or good evening. It's afternoon right here. How you doing,
Let me
man?
just have a look. I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Nice shirt.
Likewise.
This was planned. Okay, we decided to share each other's clubs here. So, Les, do you want to explain what this means?
It's actually a funny story with that T-shirt because shows my ignorance. The kanji means Shinaido, which is the truth, the true way, way of true harmony. But the red logo on it, the stamp, is my stamp, which I was not aware.
Yeah.
It's a big mistake to put your own stamp on somebody's work, because that's my good friend Akemi Lucas Sensei made the kanji, so my logo shouldn't be there. It should be hers. But
oh, really?
I didn't,
it doesn't
didn't
matter.
know about it.
It's all in good love. It's all in good love. All right, so yeah. I did a brief introduction as to who you were, and I introduced myself, but you're the special guest today, so I may I introduce to you Sensei Les Bubka from the UK, and we're here today to talk about himself, his training, his thoughts on martial arts, and more particularly this book here, which I want to thank you for. Thank you for the opportunity for me to buy this. You got me going on reading because, to be honest, I'm going to make a public announcement here. I hate reading. Even though I'm a school teacher, I don't really like reading. But you know what? When it comes to some things that I'm interested in, when it comes to martial arts, here it is. So take it away, Les. Tell me about yourself. Go ahead.
So my full name is actually Leszek Bubka, which is a Polish name. But people in UK cannot pronounce S and Z together, so we shorten it to Les. I was born in Poland, moved to UK in 2007, teaching karate. I started at Oyama Karate, then moved to Shinado Karate, which I'm still with. I could like to cross-train like Chris. I've got experience in wrestling, which I'm doing now for about 10 or 15 years. Not actively, but I incorporate methodology and techniques from it. It helped me to understand karate and all the blocks and stuff like that. I do have experience in judo as well a little bit, done BJJ, done a bit of the boxing, so I try everything what I can.
You've also, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you've got some exposure to Kyokushin as well, right?
My teacher is, we are the offshoot from Kyokushin. So per se, I never trained Kyokushin, but I took part in competition in Kyokushin Oyama. Oyama Karate is a offshoot from Kyokushin as well. The Shigeru Oyama was the adopted son of Maso Oyama, but they split.
Yeah, I realized that firsthand because when we were playing around in the UK last summer there, I noticed some of your reactions are very, very, very direct. Like you crash in, you've got boxing hands, and you've got some pretty good kickboxing skills. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, I have your book in my hand, and I've read it profusely, and I've got lots of thoughts and ideas and folded pages here to discuss with you in this discussion. But I've got a couple of questions. So basically how this is going to work, guys, is Les and I have some questions for each other. I mean, we've known each other for a couple of years now online, and we've met for the first time in June, right?
Yeah.
An amazing experience so far. The journey's been amazing. And I'm really grateful for knowing you as a friend, brother, and in general, just having this opportunity to meet and greet with so many different amazing, talented martial artists, some of which are watching right now even. So having said all this, when I see this book, I want to know, your driving reason for writing this. Like, what motivates you? What motivated you to write this particular book, The Anxious Black Belt?
So after we got married with my wife and decided we were going to have children, I had a kind of a thought process that what kind of mistakes my dad made bringing us up. And then I started writing it down just as a kind of therapy, memoir, whatever you want to call it, just to have it on paper so I can read what I didn't like about my dad and what happened, and to make sure that I'm not gonna make same mistakes.
Yeah.
And then spoke with a few friends about it, and they all decided that it's kind of interesting story. I should write it down, and I thought, well, I always wanted to write some book. I've always thought it's gonna be about the technical aspects of Shinaido karate, but that's what came up. I enjoyed the process. It took me quite a long time, about 2 years. Enjoyed it, and I'm very happy that I done it. And I have to say that releasing it to a wider view, it kind of really helped me to like drop the stone from from the guts or heart, whatever liver we say in Poland, and kind of being very purifying experience. And the feedback from people is amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad for that. I'm just thinking of a connection I'm making here, and also to an ongoing theme that I've noticed in your book, and that's the theme of the father figure, right? It's interesting discussion I had with my neighbor. We had a very long philosophical chat over some drinks, and we were talking about, people say that, the mother is an important mother figure, right? The mother is important. Well, I'd say they both are important, but there is something to be said about the father figure in a family relationship. And personally, for me, like I will talk about me later, but I resonated really strongly with the father figure theme. Like how important is it? How important it was for you to have the father that you did, because it shaped who you were, right? Either positively or negatively. So what I wanted to ask you is, can you just talk a little bit about your father's relationship and writing this book?
So my father passed away in 2011 due to illness and alcoholism. So he was drinking for so long that actually his body gave up. But now I understand that it wasn't really his fault because without understanding the background of Poland, being a communist country, and people maybe start understanding now that when you go into shop, there's nothing there. In Poland at the time, there was alcohol and there was vinegar, plus the toilet paper, which we don't have it now.
Yeah.
But
I actually
everybody
bought
was
some last week, man. So I'm happy about that.
lucky man, lucky man.
Yeah.
So in Poland, trading was done with alcohol. So my
Yeah.
father used to work in as a butcher. So
Yeah.
we didn't have a sweets, for example, but we had a lot of meat.
Right.
So if you traded, you want to get the meat from my father under the counter, but you paid in alcohol and you used to drink. So my father was exposed to that kind of system since he was 14.
Right.
So that by the 14, by he 30 years old, he had a child. His mind, in my opinion, was already damaged for so long drinking. Plus, his father never told him how to show love and stuff like that. So I can remember, being cuddled and stuff like that, and never been said, I love you. Maybe I've been, maybe I just don't remember it. Never was, I'm proud of you, but it was always, that's kind of a Polish way as well, pointing out the bad things and hoping that people gonna fix it instead of praising. So it's kind of a bit different mentality. But it definitely shaped me, and the exposure to somebody who's overusing alcohol makes me that I don't drink. So I think that's the main thing. Never been. I did have episodes where we start drinking, as all young men experiment. But then I noticed that I become angry person about it and just stopped. So since then I'm not drinking that much. Of course I enjoy beer and stuff like that, but not much.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing with my dad was he was really good with money. So although he was drinking nearly every day, we all never had going without the bills being paid and stuff like that. Which unfortunately I don't have that skills. I spend money like my mom.
Yeah. You mentioned that in your book. I remember reading.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I got attracted to this book because personally, I've had some bouts of depression before, and I think we talked about this offline as well. There was a time in my life where I wasn't sure where I was going with university. I went to university, and my parents put a lot of pressure on me. Coming from a Southeast Asian family, they wanted me to be a mathematician, engineer, doctor, lawyer kind of thing, and those type of subjects I just weren't interested in it. But so I ended up not really doing so well at school because I was doing a program that I wasn't happy with, right? And so one thing led to another. There was a lot of arguments at home, and my dad, he used to drink too, when he was younger. He doesn't do that anymore. In fact, he's the epitome of health now, and he's very, very healthy. But back in the day, he would drink a lot, and he was abusive in the way he would speak. And he just wasn't in a good place, in a good time. And later on, this book has made me think about myself, and it's made me also think about about my parents. And I could honestly say, and I've told you this before offline too, that I love my dad, and more so now, and I understand the reason why he was the way he was simply because he had a lot of anxiety, man. And he still does. And only I know it, right? Like my mom kind of knows it, but I know him better, right? Like I can tell when my dad speaks that he's breathing heavy, and it's based on certain topics he'd get really upset about, things that he can't control. He'll start breathing and stuff, and then because I know that, I kind of change the conversation, and I calm him down a bit and things like that. And anyway, when I read this book, it put a smile on my face. It also made me kind of sad, but it also gave me goosebumps at the same time, because I was thinking, man, we've been through very similar situations. But okay, so we've answered our first question. I wanted to share with you some parts here that I've read that kind of held a lot of meaning for me. And so if I were to turn to page 23 on here, there's a section here. You said, being at school was not easy for me. As a teenager, your peers are ruthless. And although I wasn't bullied physically, other kids did mock me. Dude, when I read that, oh man, I immediately, it's kind of like a rewind. I went right back to the part when I was in school, bro. And it reminded me of the time, like, okay, so I grew up, guys, for those of you who don't know what, I grew up, I was born and raised here in Toronto. And I grew up at the time, like in the late 60s, early 70s. I was born in 1968. I was the only Asian kid in my class. And when I read this, it reminded me of the time, like many times, I'd go to school, and everyone would look at me and go, look at this chink coming down, right? Look at this guy, right? Look at his big ears. I would take the bus to school, man, and on the bus, man, this one kid, he would always flick my ears. And because of all that, my mom put me through plastic surgery. My ears used to be like this, okay, which is just a little bit more angled.
Just like mine.
Yeah, I mean, like shoot, man, like years and years, right? But my ears were like this. I would get hit here and flicked and this and that. My mom took me to a plastic surgeon and made me get plastic surgery because of that incident. And now, bro, back in the day, plastic surgery wasn't well developed, you know, and so they just did a really rough cut and stitch job on my ears. And the thing is, it's quite sore at cold days. And when I'm sparring and stuff, I'm very protective of my head now because it's sore, right? So anyway, I wanted to read that part to you because it hit a very soft spot in my life, and and my grades dropped too, because you mentioned here, like, can you explain, like, going through school, like, I remember I shared with you before, I said to you, I said, I wasn't doing so well only because I didn't feel like going to school. Like, I was capable of doing the work, and bro, I understood how to do the work, but I just gave up because of others, right? Do you want to, like, maybe explain, like, how your progress in school was like?
Yeah, same for me. I've been mocked because when I was 7, I had the accident and had a huge abscess, about a glass of an abscess in my leg, which that was removed, and the dentist, it's not confirmed, but the dentist think that that abscess caused lots of abscesses in my teeth. So by the age of 10, 11, my second teeth start coming out. So that's not actually a scar on my face. It's just that they had such a huge abscess when they removed 4 of the teeth.
Right.
It just came together and looks like a scar, but it's not a scar.
Right.
So they, they said to make you a new set of teeth, we have to wait till your jaw is fully developed. Right. So you cannot do anything. So imagine going to school as a teenager without a teeth. People just mock you. So for fear of judgment, I just withdrawn from school activities. No football, nothing after school. I didn't want to answer like any questions, so I didn't study, didn't pay attention because I was all the time thinking how to get out from the school. Same like you.
Yep.
I become a master of forging my parents' signature to giving excuse notes. You could, at the time in Poland.
I remember reading that. Yes.
Yeah, my mom wrote why I couldn't be in school, or even going to a length of eating raw potatoes just to be sick in school. And that really lasted till my not high school, but occupational school, which I had to go because I had a choice, either go to work or stay in school. So the fear of judgment and approaching somebody to get a job was bigger than going to school. So I kind of developed being a joker, the fool of the class, and that kind of helped me navigate through the class wherever I couldn't skip. So I regret that because since I was turning like 22, 24, I decided I started to enjoy learning, and I'm learning till now. You know, every spare time I do some qualification and learning. I suppose try to catch up what I missed and what I could have been if I just pay attention.
Yep, yep. So right now as we speak, you run a martial arts school. If you could tell us about your martial arts school, and tell us also about the I think, is it a physiotherapy clinic that you run too?
I stopped doing that. I'm qualified. It's kind of a whole package. So
Yeah,
I do run martial arts club, a small club. At the moment, it's all online, obviously.
of course. Yeah,
But mainly focusing on karate, but with a big base in wrestling. So we do a lot of throwing, joint locks, and takedowns and escapes on the floor. I've tried to bring everything what I experienced from other people and managed to snatch from like yourself. You know, your Philly blocking and is it what do you call it? Philly
trapping.
the shell,
Oh, Philly
the
Philly
shell,
shell. You
Philly
say?
shell. That's the one.
Yeah,
So,
that's yeah. It's not mine. It's
So,
it's a boxing
yeah,
move.
but
Yeah,
I experienced it more from you on that seminar. So I nicked it. I take stuff from Ian Abernathy and John
yeah.
Teaching and all the guys. You know, learning all the time.
100%.
But our club is not very traditional, so we don't do much of a rigorous discipline. It's all relaxed and family friendly. My main focus is on mental health, so I cooperate with Oakleaf, which is the mental health charity, running projects for them as well, where the people can come and use karate as a support of their therapy. So
Yeah,
I'm
I've seen
working
that.
very
Like
hard.
so for those of you who don't know, Les is quite actively involved in the community as well, right? Like
Yeah,
you've done some community events, martial arts for mental health, I think.
yeah,
If
yeah,
you want to
yeah,
just
yeah.
talk a little bit about that.
We're doing. We started as martial arts for mental health. Now we're doing. I think it's a fourth year karate for mental health. Where we raise money to different mental health charities, from the big ones to the small ones.
Yep.
We got a great support from. I have to mention them. Ian Abernathy is a big shout out. John Johnson from Adaptive Karate is a huge supporter of it. Brian Bates, would you know as well,
Yeah. Hey
is
Brian, I don't know
joining.
if he's watching. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to check a look at the lists
Uh,
there. But
Don came is a great supporter as well.
yeah,
Who
Don
else?
reached out to me recently. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt Jardine, who is an awesome coach for BJJ and karate. He's not that active online
Yeah.
in the martial arts stuff, but I recommend you his book, The Hardest Path. It's an awesome book about this crazy journey in the Shikaku and doing 88 temples. Yeah, so we're raising funds and doing really open-minded classes and seminars, whatever we can get people involved. Now we try to figure out a way of doing online classes for people suffering with mental health issues.
Yeah, man.
And then
I have to admit, I'm very impressed with how Britain, the UK in particular, your region has taken karate, you know, to very healthy lengths. Like I was invited last year by John Titchin. I don't know if you're watching, John. Shout out to you. Oh man, you know what I forgot? I forgot to hit the record and download here, but I think I can
don't
do
worry,
that before.
I'm recording.
Or are you recording it?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I think so.
I think Ken Knight told me that I think before I end, I can click download. So anyway,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna within this next couple of hours, I'm gonna make sure I record this. Like I can do it offline. But anyway, sorry. What was I saying? When I came down to the UK, I was exposed to, you know, I did some seminars there, and I was exposed to, you know, how you guys do your karate there, and I'm impressed, man. Like, you know, you guys are taking it to different lengths. I mean, in terms of the whole practical karate movement, it's quite refreshing to see. I mean, we've got a lot of guys that think that train like that over here too. But I would say, to be honest, like from my little exposure to the UK, you guys are doing a really good job over there. Like I would say better than what we're doing over here. So
Yeah. I think the UK is the leading for the practical kind of karate. The other
yeah,
project which I have to mention is my silver karate. So I've got a group of not so young as they call themselves,
Yeah.
where we're doing katas for mobility and meditation. So that's
If
a
you don't
super
mind,
group,
I'm
and
just going to turn this sideways so I can
we,
just see some of the comments and just give some shout outs to people. Hey, oh, Ian is there. Hey, Ian. How you doing, man? Ian's watching. Hey, Ken. Kiwari's there. So, man, we've got representation from UK, Australia, I believe the US, Boston Budo. Hey, how's it going? Ken and Sig Shezzy. I'm not sure. Oh, I know Sig Shezzy. Hey, how you doing? And yeah. So yeah, Ian says hi just now. Right on. So okay, so I'm just gonna leave it there for a bit, and then I'm gonna move on to my next question. Pardon me going offline there for a second. My last point, actually, my last point to you, which is, to be honest, to me, this statement alone on page 47, in my opinion, after me reading this, kind of sums it up for the book. It just, this statement that I'm about to read to you folks sums it up. So this is what, in my opinion, what Les's book is all about. So here you go, Les. Dedication to you. This is what I think this book's all about. So Les says here, I'm just going to read on page 47 in the last paragraph. It says, "This situation was repeated for many years. I got stressed before a display and relaxed during the performance. I have learned that people do not notice or care about my mistakes." This is, I'm assuming this is when you were doing your tournament, right? Or your
tournament displays and all the demos and stuff.
Right. And moreover, they are not aware of them. What they want is an excellent display. And here we go. So you say, "That day I learned that facing a challenge can give me the confidence to face it and overcome it. That has become my mantra since then. A challenge equals a head-on collision." Bro, a challenge equals a head-on collision. Guys, take that and smoke that for a little bit. That's like amazing. Like, so I'd like you to explain, since you wrote this, what do you mean by that? I know what you mean, because we talked about this, but for the audience over here, what does that mean?
Yes,
a challenge equals a head-on collision. Go.
So every time when I had some events, it doesn't matter, karate, whatever, public speaking or school or stuff like that, I always had a lot of fear. I still got a fear of doing it. But it didn't matter what I do, I always end up doing it. Regardless if I like it, didn't like it. And then I started noticing when I took up karate, and from a fear of embarrassed and failing my friends within karate group, I always said yes. Although I've been, they said, I've got this display in next week. We want you to do some kata. In my head, I was screaming, no, I don't want to do it. But then fear of being judged and kicked out from a club, I really, really wanted to be there. I said yes. And then at the end of the day, I had to do it. I done it. And it always was a relief. Because when you're doing it, tunnel vision is just me and my performance, nobody mattered. So I start enjoying this moment, and I noticed that more I do in it, more accustomed to things I am. So the best example is speaking live with the person on the other side of the camera. That fulfills me with the fear. And what did I say when you asked if I want to do it? Straight away, yes, I do it.
Oh, bro, before I came on live, like every time I come live, like my heart beats, because I don't know what to expect, right? Honestly,
exactly.
I hope I can, pull this off and this and that, and but I feel it, man. I feel it. Keep going.
So now I just if you come out to give me a challenge, and I think it's not against my rules or against my family or something, I just say yes, I'm doing it, and see what happens. Usually turns up okay. Sometimes not great as I would like to, but usually it's great. And just overcoming that fear is getting a habit. I think Ian Abernathy describes it really well in his book Mental Strength. It's like with the weight exercises. You start very weak, and you overcoming that barrier of your strength and building up, building up, building up. Same with it. You cannot sit in a comfort zone. You have to challenge yourself. So I've
100%.
got a big forehead, so I'm going head forwards and smashing through and learning on the road. So
Oh yeah,
that's my philosophy now.
it's funny, like the whole mental health situation these days. With how I should say social media and things like that. It's brought to the forefront this issue, right? Like mental health
Yeah.
is I think people are more. It's nice to see that people are more comfortable talking about it now.
Definitely.
I mean, as they should have been from the beginning of time. Like I mean, I don't know one person that hasn't had a challenge with emotions taking over themselves in some way, shape, or form, whether they can control it or not. Every person that I've spoken to, it's just a matter of time when you get to know them a bit better. They're going to reveal to you, pretty much the same things that you and I are going through, right? Which kind of tells me one thing, right? We're all human, man. We're all human, and we need to be looking out for each other, man. And like, when I read your book, bro, it gave me so much, like, how should I say, excitement, but it also gave me like a little bit of anger too, that how people can judge you, without even knowing the consequences, right? Like, it's just wrong, right? But on the other hand, when I finished reading your book and knowing you as a person too, I mean, that for myself, reading someone else's book, that someone that I know, after reading this book, it's a great feeling, because I lost my train of thought, man. What was I gonna say?
Happens.
I hate that.
I give you time to think, because I want to pick up on something what you said. You said about everybody getting
please.
everybody being
Go ahead.
yeah, everybody being possibly have a mental health problem. I liked what they done in UK. They changed is not ill mental health and good mental health. It's a spectrum.
Yes.
And we're just bouncing on between. We are somewhere in the middle, constant, with our good mental health. And when something negative happens, you're dropping down towards the ill mental health, and then you're getting happier. You're going to the happier moment. But we're kind of balancing in the middle. So it's not that the people who are ill all the time. They are just lower on the line. But at any moment, everybody can jump from one side of the spectrum to the other. And I think that's what we need to remember. It's not definite that, everybody's going to be healthy. We're going to be always healthy. It can happen in any time that you're going to be moving on that spectrum. Did you catch your thought?
I got my point. I'm just writing it down before I forget it. Okay, so after reading your book and also simultaneously knowing you, it's really cool in a sense that I wouldn't say you've overcome it, but you've come to terms with it, right? And you've exhibited so much strength that, you made a book, man, about it, and you've made it public, and you're not scared to share your ideas. And bro, I'm going to give you props for that, man. I really appreciate that. And it also tells me that, that after reading this, people really are the same. We're on different levels of the spectrum, as you said, but we're more or less the same in terms of we all have insecurities, right? We all need a certain level of encouragement, right? From our peers and from our family and stuff like that. And you know what? I'm just making connections to one of my electives in universities. I studied laboratory psychology. And we did a lot of we studied learning behavior of rats and these type of animals. And in a nutshell, we came to all these conclusions that animals and human beings. I mean, and I pardon if I'm stating the obvious here. We're basically social natures. We are social creatures by nature. Okay, we need to be. Like rats, for instance, they need to be in close proximity to each other. They need to stroke each other with their skin so that it stimulates their central nervous system in order for them to feel happy, right? Like so what does that mean for human beings? It's the same thing. We need to be touched. Our hands need to be on our shoulders saying, hey, good job, man. Good job. You know,
Yeah.
we need encouragement, man. But yet, you know, you see what we do a lot is we're quick to judge. And this is a big problem in the martial art world. You know, the moment you put a style and a big organization to something, it's like, I don't care what you say, there's judgment. There's judgment. Whether it's good or bad, there's judgment, right? And the whole point of the judgment piece, we got to be careful, you know, when we're judging, because we're dealing with people's egos and we're dealing with people's feelings, right? And so, you know, when I finished reading your book, I'm thinking, you know, we really have to be mindful, you know, as a community, as a global community of martial artists and human beings, we got to be mindful of what we say and do, man. You know, and as senseis, I think we got to keep going. We got to keep the torch, man, and keep going in terms of, you know, saying and doing the right thing. And whatever you say and do, if it's not going to help the other person, don't say it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. But you know, from other point, you have to be honest.
Yeah.
So I start from an end as always. I think that karate is great for bringing people up with the mental health and helping them through how it's created. Because we've got the grades and we've got that control failure. So you're showing people that, you know, everybody's failing. It doesn't matter who you are. You're coming to the dojo. You've got the next grading or competition or whatever. You're doing it and you're failing. You're failing. You're failing. Failing. But then you can look back 2 grades later behind you, and you can see, oh, I overcome this. So you're building a habit of overcoming the problems, and that can be translated easily to the life. That, you know, today your business not going well, just keep going. It's gonna get better. The quote from the crow: "It cannot rain all the time." So it's gonna be going.
You know, I wanted to add to you, you know, like yesterday, like I've been in self-isolation, dude, for the last couple of weeks, man. I think we all have been, right? More so in Ontario here, like we've really been on lockdown. So I've been eating really good home cooked meals because of that, and I'm really grateful for that. My wife, she's gonna see that. So shout out to you, Jen. She's upstairs. But anyway, what's it? I decided just to go get some takeout yesterday. Went to a store, went to get some fish and chips. By the way, the fish and chips in the UK, the best. Over here, yeah. But anyway, went to get some fish and chips, and you know what, man? The store owner, I said, "How's it going, bro?" And he goes, "You don't want to know, man." Right? Immediately from that conversation, I kind of knew I was treading on serious waters there, because he was basically telling me he's at the point of bankruptcy, man. Like he's operating now on just savings alone, and he's running out of savings. You know, so
it's difficult time.
It's tough, man. It's tough, man. You know what? Like, I mean, even though I'm a government sector worker, we are getting paid. But the point is, the way things are going right now is like they're thinking of even maybe stripping or streamlining our teaching process. And this whole online thing might be, I don't know. I hope it's not, but might be the thing. You know, which means that they're going to streamline teachers and limit the amount of teachers in the classroom, right? And you know, so I'm worried, man. But you know, like the messaging behind your book, and just also from my own personal thing, is that I can't let that stop me. You know, I'm just gonna live in the now and just keep going and do the best I can, given what I can control, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it is what it is, and you have to deal with it. I want to come back to
you just have to adapt. And I mean, like, you know, like you as a martial artist, you know all about flowing and adapting, right? That's what we do, man. You know, like, and that's what we do really well, right? Like, as part of our training. But I'm just gonna take a quick break now, and just before we go on more, I just want to scroll through some of these comments. And guys, please feel free. I mean, this is your opportunity now to shoot some comments and ask us some questions. I saw some comments from Ian and and PJ too. PJ says, "Great Budaka, always giving back to the community." Thank you, sir. Ian says, "Hi all." Ken says, "Hey everybody." Ian says, "Me too, delighted to find these two chatting, fantastic content." Oh, and then PJ wrote, "Anxiety and depression is a worldwide issue. Good martial arts and martial artists like Les are doing so much to improve lives." Absolutely, brother. I believe that.
Thank you.
And then Les, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing, but I'm afraid to scroll it, so I don't take myself out of your stuff.
No, you won't. You
'Cause
won't, man.
I
You won't.
never, I never done it before. So
I'm seeing your Ken's statement. So Ken, hey Ken, how you doing, man? Thanks for supporting us, brother. I really appreciate that. He says the ability for martial arts and the other sports to recognize and reinforce that failure is not only okay, but something to be embraced. Something to be embraced is more important than ever. That's really well said. For those of you who don't know Ken, I'm just gonna give a shout out to Ken Knight. Ken has a channel, Ken Fu TV. Check it out. He's a well-spoken guy, has a beautiful setup, makes some amazing videos. He's a karateka just like us, and he's cross-trained in a lot of arts, and he has some nice material on, you know, his progression and his thoughts on the martial arts. So check him out. And Ken, give you a shout out. Les, he goes, Les, I love your work. Please keep at it.
thank you very much.
So
I
guys,
enjoy
ask some questions, man.
as well.
We're gonna take some questions. Go for it.
Can I come back to, before the questions gonna keep in, to your stuff saying that we shouldn't mention stuff and say stuff? I kind of disagree with it, because we all judgmental and we do it unaware. So we went to one of the seminars. I'm not gonna say the karateka's name, but first thing I thought, geez, that's gonna be a rough guy and probably not very clever. And I couldn't be more wrong. Really gentle giant, very intelligent guy, and I just felt bad that it just came to my mind straight. But I believe that we should talk about it. So I said to my students, you know, I thought about it, this person like that, I shouldn't do it, but sometimes it just happened. Don't feel bad if you've got the bad thoughts. Just have that process of you know, analyzing it and find those moments when you're finding the negative comments and bad comments coming into your head, and you know, judge them and dispose of them.
You know, to your point, I mean, no, I agree. Like sometimes we just we've talked about this too offline too. Like Les and I, we chat a lot, and we've spoken about this. You know, people do the best they can given what they know, right? I mean, like you didn't know any better, and you made an assumption, right? But your assumption was wrong about this guy, right? But, like you said, I mean, it's important to say those things. But what I was trying to say earlier, just to defend what I was saying, is I think like, you know, as you get older, you know, technically, right, you become more aware, right? And I think if we exercise that awareness, you know, then maybe we could kind of, like, I'm sure right now, Les, honestly, man, like, correct me if I'm wrong, that experience you had with that sensei, I don't think you'd make that same mistake again, right? Like, you'd probably...
No.
Right?
No. Yeah. Not aware, but you know, sometimes you're just creeping in and then you catch yourself and it's like, bam, why did I do that?
Yeah. But so I don't have any questions here for anybody. We've given them some chances. We've got about 15 minutes left. Maybe, Les, do you have any questions for me? Or
I do.
Okay, perfect.
So you said you've been bullied. My wife actually, by the way, is a Thai from Chinese descendant. She had exactly the same experience as you. She became a martial artist as well. Do you think that being bullied and made you a better martial artist?
Yes and no. In a nutshell, yes, it did. Like originally, you know, me going into martial arts was a reaction, a pure reaction. And it wasn't really well thought out either. Even like my dad basically just said, listen, you're getting bullied by all these Caucasian students, you know, and no offense, that's just the way it was in the 60s and 70s, man. I was the only Asian kid in a whole class of Caucasian students, right? And don't get me wrong, I mean, you know, I have some of my best friends are of way different races than myself, you know, including Caucasian. So it has nothing to do with, you know, I'm not being racist at all. I'm just stating some facts here. Like, my dad basically said, listen, you're going to do two things now. You're going to go hockey or you're going to do martial arts or karate. Take your pick. And I'm going, no, I'm not doing hockey, because most of the Caucasian students are playing hockey. And at the time where I was living, there was only a few places that had hockey classes, and all those hockey programs, and all those guys were there. And I didn't want to hang with those guys. So I said, all right, I'm going to do karate, right? So I did karate, and it affected me, because the moment I stepped foot in the dojo, I saw people that were just like me, man. I saw Asian kids. I saw black kids. I saw white kids. I saw Filipino kids. Tall guys, small guys, fat girls, skinny girls. I saw everybody, and they all suffered from some sort of problem at school, right?
Yeah.
And the moment I recognized that, I started to breathe. I was like, oh yeah,
I'm home.
I,
I'm
I
home.
found my home here, you know?
Yeah.
And then just the whole rigid structure of doing stuff. Like naturally, I didn't even know what my skills were, man. Like we were doing all these Kihon Wazas drills. I didn't even know what they were called back then, but we were doing all these drills in horse stance, rigorous punches, and all these crazy exercises, holding weights for like a couple of minutes and this and that. And you know what? I liked it. And I liked the fact that I could repeat the beauty of repetition, like repeating something 20, 30, 40, 50 times, sometimes 100 times, ki-ing after each set of 10. Just that, I'm sure you can appreciate less. It was the rhythmic part of it, the meditation piece, the uniformity of just standing in a line, having somebody in front and everybody beside you, behind you, in different formats. Bro, that was surreal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never experienced anything like that in my life. And so I said, okay, this is for me. And dude, 30, 40, almost 40 years later, I'm still doing it, you know? And I'm meeting other people and stuff. So the point is, hell yes, it affected me. It caused me to find my passion, number one. Number two, it also worked against me too, though, in some degree, because, you know, as an immature martial artist, you know, the moment I started seeing some sort of skills that I had, it developed a lot of false confidence in myself.
Yeah.
And so when I was in school, you know, I mean, I was like, when this happened, you know, this was like around orange belt. So this was like maybe my second year into karate. I got into a fight at school and with one of the bullies, and he, you know, words were exchanged. I can't remember what. It was this big, tall, white guy, and he pushed me, boom, and he clocked me, and I took it, right? But then I came right back, and he was freaked that I came back. Now, this guy was way bigger than me and stronger than me. He could have toasted me, but I hit him back right away, and it wasn't a very strong hit, but I hit him back. He was more shocked at the fact that I hit him back, and he was more shocked with the fact that all of his other friends were around him. He was embarrassed, right? So I in a way, I felt I won only because I stood up for myself. But that experience alone made me feel after that point, oh, I can deal with anything, right? When I went to high school, I got into a situation and I got beaten up, right? And so I just kind of calmed down and I said, all right, I got to train a bit differently now. It's not, I have to really calm myself down more, you know? And so yeah, the martial arts basically made me kind of, how could I say, it taught me a lot about who I am, and it kept me, basically made me realize that, you know what, man, like I need to be more self-aware, and fighting is stupid, bro. You know what I mean? It's the most lowest level of martial arts there is. You know, I spoke to a lot of Chinese Kung Fu. I have a lot of Chinese Kung Fu practitioner friends, and in China, and when I went to visit there, like I went to meet them and stuff, and they were telling me, they're going, they said it in Chinese. My friend was translating. They say, I can't remember the words, but they were saying that fighting, lowest level, knowing yourself, highest level.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
I think we've got a question from Ian Abernathy.
Huh?
You've got a question from Ian Abernathy.
Okay, yeah.
Scroll up. There it is.
Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, he said.
You want to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to read it? Can you see it?
Well, if you like it in a Polish accent, but no problem. So Ian Abernathy said, I send one advice for the current situation: how to make the most of it, how to mitigate the negative effects of being isolated. Love this, gents.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. I can. You want to take it? Let's split this. Go ahead, and I'll talk about it too.
So for me, just accept what it is. I'm staying home. I thought that my class is gonna collapse and everything, but I reached out to people. and ask them what they want to do. I offer the trial class via first via Messenger, then through the Zoom. Now we're doing through the Zoom, and there was great response. We got more people from different dojos even joining now. I'm enjoying it. Try to not be fearful. Like I said, it cannot rain all the time. It's gonna get better. Be sensible. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't go unnecessary. I'm being driven a bit crazy with my children because I'm locked with them 24/7 for the second week now. Although it feels like it's the 10th week now. I have to come up with all of games and stuff when Wise working in the other
Yep.
room.
Yep.
But yeah, keep positive and keep the connections with people. Check on other people. I message a lot of my students, especially the elderly ones, to make sure they are all okay, and do a lot of training on katas and kind of thoughtful training, and try to help people and stay positive. I think we have to stay positive in
Yeah, you've
see what's gonna happen.
pretty much covered everything I was going to say. I'm just going to I'm going to add some different things. I think for me, structure and schedule is important during this time. Only because I'm the product of not that. Like I've since this COVID-19 thing, I've been scrambling and taking liberties of sleeping at all crazy times, eating garbage, just taking liberties, eating cookies and chocolates and snack foods, and that kind of happens, when you stay up late watching a lot of TV and this and that, and then I pay the price the next day, I'm dead, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think having a good structure is important. Waking up as early as you can and just doing stuff, like, especially now, as you said, like this whole online thing, I think this COVID-19 thing has kind of forced us to get more digitally, to become more of a digital citizen. We've gotten like honestly, man, I've learned how to YouTube better. My videos are getting a little bit better.
I can see
Nowhere
you're on
near
fire.
anyone else that's doing way better stuff than me, but a little dinky guy like me here in Toronto, Canada, I'm just spending more time now, learning how to use like tools and this and that and making better videos. So that's one thing I've learned. Dude, I have to thank you. I'm reading now, bro. I never read. So I mean, this is the time. You've got it, guys. Use it to read, use it to develop yourself, right? And the time is now. And really, this message has been beaten to death, and excuse my obviousness here, but the time is now. You can't really worry about stuff too much. I mean, think about it, guys. We can't control the economy. We don't know when the bottom of the stock market's going to be, right? We can be worried and send messages to our financial advisors and this and that, but they're not going to know. No one knows, man, right? So
Exactly.
what do we know? All we know is, look, I'm here talking to this screen right now. That's all I know. And I know after this, I'm going to drink some more water, and I'm going to do some training. And my wife's going to come down. She's going to train with me with my daughter. And then we're going to hang out, watch some TV, go to bed, and do some work tomorrow. That's all I know, right? And so I think we should need to focus on that and build some new skills and spend time with your families if they're around you, less, man. Honestly, I had a conversation with some of the parents. I've been calling a lot of the parents. I'm a school teacher, guys, by the way, if you don't know. And thank goodness we're starting school, not physically, but virtually through an e-learning platform on Monday. And so we're ramping up for that. And so the beauty of that is I'm getting a chance to talk to all the parents. I called every single kid in my class, and I've spoken to every single parent in my class. I reached out to them. And it was really nice to know that they're on the same page as us in terms of, crazy schedules. But the point is, the common theme that they said to me was that they really appreciated the time with the family. They got to know their kids better. They hung out with their kids, even though it drove them crazy, but they fell in love with their kids even more, and those who have pets, they've hung out more with their pets and done more things with their pets. And, so I think it's a time to be together and I don't know what else to say. Focus on the now, right?
Okay, last question to you then. Most important one. What?
Yeah, because we just got a couple of minutes left before it's going to time us out.
What martial arts did had did martial arts had an impact on your mental health, positive or negative?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that. If we get timed out, guys, I'm gonna relog back in. Okay, so don't go. Please re-sign into Instagram because I'd love to answer this question. So Les, ask me that question again.
What I say? What impact martial arts had on your mental health?
Oh, it well, it gave me a sense of confidence, and it improved my social skills. So like when I was bullied, you know who I was truly was all shut down. Like I love to talk to people. I love to get to know people. I love to help people. But when I was bullied and stuff, I was overjudged to the point where I didn't like people anymore. You know what I mean? So when I joined the martial art club, it affected my mental health in a sense that I was happier. It makes me happy. I love every single aspect of karate, from wearing the uniform, at times, which to be honest, I really don't like wearing a gi. But right now, I much prefer lighter clothing. But man, when I wear my gi, I feel amazing. When I move through it, when I do kata, like kata puts me in a trance, man. It puts me in a state, and certain katas, like I think we talked about this. Certain katas give you a flow. There's a certain flow and rhythm, and the fact that you could change it up on the dime and express that flow in different ways, that makes me even more happier. You know what I mean? Then there's the social piece. Like now with the social media and with like-minded people and the willingness to reach out and share, bro, I'm living the dream, bro. This is it. Like I love it. And it's taken me a lot of guts to actually put my stuff out there. Like I really didn't want to because I felt people would make fun of it, and you know what? I'm sure people are still giggling behind this screen.
I remember our conversations when you started, and people said the bad comments and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I
get some
experienced
comments here and there, and you can feel it. Like as human beings, you can feel it. Like when you're talking to somebody, they're just like nodding. They're all being polite.
Just
They're
like
trying out your techniques, and you're going, yeah, that's pretty good, man, and this and that. But you can just tell, man. Like I think you and I've been through enough experiences where you can just tell that's a load of BS, right? Like you can tell when someone's really legitimately, honestly, from the heart, like you as a person, and they're appreciating you. You can just know it. You could smell it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, I don't know. Martial arts has given me the opportunity to reach out to people and be genuinely expressive, right? And like, hey man, this is just the beginning, brother. I'm gonna keep going. Like I'm 51 now, and next thing I want to do is I want to write a book like you, man. So I'm gonna need your advice because I don't know where to begin.
The beginning is just start writing it. That's the beginning, and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, it's allowing us to still keep talking. I want to do some more shout outs to Okinawan Karate Podcast. How you doing? Oh, actually, he says you logged in late, but what I did see was great. Thank you for sharing. Oh, you're very welcome.
Don't worry, it's gonna be on the. If you don't mind, Chris, I put it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, man, please. That would be
send
great.
a copy as well. Yeah.
Yeah, share it with me too, man. Because I keep forgetting to hit record, bro. But hopefully, I think when we leave here, I can do that. But
okay.
I don't want to take up everyone's time, and I don't want to take up your time. But do you want to wrap it up, or?
We can wrap it up, or we can. If you got any subjects, we can talk. Everybody at my house is sleeping now, so I'm just me and the cat. So he's sleeping there on the sofa.
How about this? We can chat for another couple of minutes until Instagram kicks us out. How's that?
Sure.
Right.
I'm really, really happy that you enjoyed the book and you had a positive impact on it. And it's kind of amazing how many people send me the messages that they've got very similar experiences, and they're grateful I wrote the book. You said that
where we can find it and how we can purchase one.
The best way is to go on Amazon and type it in, and it comes up. There's
right here, guys. The Anxious Black Belt.
There's ebook and a paperback. whichever people prefer.
It's
I personally
not a very big read either. It's nice
no
and
no.
smooth, easy to read, you know, and easy on
If
guys like
Chris,
me that don't like to read.
you're not
But
the first person who said that they don't like reading, but the book kept them going. And I
yeah,
had quite a few complaints. I had a few ladies from my club saying that their husbands were not happy because when they started reading it,
yeah,
they read it through one sitting, and the dinner was late and stuff like that. So
yeah.
causing troubles everywhere.
Hey, before we go, so where can we find you online? Hey guys, we're back. I just want to finish up that conversation. I'm going to try to get Les back on here. 1 second. Les, you there? Okay, hold on. Try to get you back. All right, we're back. See if I can get you.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. Yeah, we'll just finish up. We'll finish up a couple of those things we're talking about. So yeah, just tell us where we could find you again.
It's Les Bubka on the Facebook, Les Bubka on the Instagram, as well as our club page, Shinaido Karate UK.
Yeah.
That's on the Facebook and Instagram, and then our club page, shinaidokarate.com.
Very good.
And YouTube, Shinaido Martial Arts, I think it is.
Yeah. And as for me, I'm Karate Unity on Facebook, and YouTube and Instagram. Yeah. And yeah. So what's your next steps? What are you gonna do for what are you doing for training these days? What's your next steps for training?
So we got a online training Saturday and Tuesdays night, where we're focusing on katas and all the concepts where I'm teaching.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm thinking how to adjust our Karate for Mental Health seminar, which meant to be in June.
Right.
I'm thinking it might be a online project, so the teachers will be with me, Brian Bates and Don came, and I forgot the name, John. I'm sorry, John. I will come back with your name later. Meant to come together and teach, and we will gonna, I think, talk about stuff. So I was gonna cover the adaptation for disability, because I'm a disability coach as well.
Nice.
How to modify the karate to people with severe disabilities, I mean, like MS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just wonder what Don gonna do, and I need to speak with people what they can do as a form of as a form of talking, or we can focus on some katas and stuff.
Got it?
I'm not sure how it's gonna work out.
Can you take a photo of
do
us?
something.
Sorry, I just asked my wife. Hey guys, this is my wife over here. Hey Jen.
Sure.
Can you take a, that's Les from the UK?
Oh, cool.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Yes.
Take a photo?
Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoy your fitness session.
Hi. This one? Like,
Yeah,
like-
just
like
take
looking
a shot.
over?
Just take a shot. Yeah, take a shot like just from
Oh,
an angle
okay,
like
ready?
that.
One?
Yeah.
Hello, another person.
Here's my daughter in the background. Here, come say hi. He's saying hi to the whole world here.
Hi,
That's
nice to meet you.
Les.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's my family,
Awesome.
man. All three of us.
Mine is asleep. If you call in the morning, I introduce you to mine, but they're sleeping now. So.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I'm gonna wrap up now, if you don't mind. I want to do a bit of training
Sure.
and then get some dinner in there. So yeah,
Enjoy.
it was a pleasure, brother. I really appreciate the time, and loved your book. And yeah, man, guys, check out Les Bubka, amazing martial artist. What's it? He bridges the gap of his traditional styles with combat sports, and he just gives back to the community. So love it all, brother. Love it all. All right.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to talk to you as
man.
always. And,
So we'll chat online.
up the
Let me
good
know,
work.
offline. Let me know when you get all the video all set and stuff, and then send it to me.
no problem.
All right.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for
Thanks for
audience
watching.
as well.
Appreciate that.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Be safe. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.